Art on Demand is a production of the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County, brought to you with support from Alys Beach, 30A.com, and Florida Department of State, Division of Cultural Affairs. While these events are provided at no cost to you, we do ask that you donate what you can by visiting our website, culturalartsalliance.com, in order to help the CAA continue to foster creativity, employ artists, and bring you entertainment, education, and engagement through Art on Demand. We hope you love this virtual event.
Hi, I'm Gabby with the CAA, and I'm here with Chandler Williams in his gallery, Modus Photography. We're here today because he's won Artist of the Year for 2021 for Visit South Walton, and he's going to give us a tour of his gallery. Chandler, take it away.
So I'm native to South Walton. I actually grew up in Freeport, just over the bridge. So my interest in photography started when I was a senior in high school, and my parents happened to have an old Canon 35mm that I was able to use, and eventually developing 35mm in canisters and sinks, and really being hands-on with film, and that's really where my passion for photography started. The water has always been a big inspiration for myself individually and ties into my work. Modus photography, modus means the mode or expression. Really, modus vivendi is the mode or expression of life. And then really, when I started shooting events like years ago at the paddleboard events, people would come up to me like, "Oh, you're Modus, so you're Modus." So my wife and I jokingly have said, like, I'm just gonna change my name to Modus. You know, it'd be a lot easier. But yeah, so I signed the back of my artwork, I am Modus, and really it's kind of grown, and I think it's worked out okay so far. So being recognized as Artist of the Year as a photographer is really personal to me because there are so many photographers, and with social media as well, as everybody's a photographer in a sense. To be recognized as an art form has really been a goal of mine to kind of elevate the photography in the area and have it recognized as an art. My technique and process, really to capture the best photo, if you will, I think it's just really comprehending the language of photography. To be comfortable in the environment has allowed me the flexibility to shoot and create, sometimes creating not knowing the outcome. The environments that you put yourself in as a landscape photographer, sometimes you're not aware of how the weather's going to change or it's unpredictable. And by knowing the language of how to operate the camera really allows the flexibility and the creativity to happen without limitations. So some of my photographs you'll see here in the gallery are international shots. And I've been fortunate enough to have clients that have put me all over the map. For me, I've loved traveling my whole life, and I'm comfortable and have been comfortable traveling in a lot of very primitive circumstances. You know, some of these shots you'll see in the gallery are from Peru, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. My love is Hawaii, and I would spend every second there if I could. You know, from New Zealand and Australia. But I really have a passion for Latin America. The first time I traveled was '99, and we made a trip down to Costa Rica, which kind of set I think had a really big effect on the perspective of the diversity and how kind of amazing the world is and the cultures and the people and how accepting they are as humanity, which then led me to go to Mexico and to kind of travel the US as well. But yeah, here in the gallery you'll see even shots from Cuba. I was able to make a trip down to Cuba and spend a few weeks down there shooting a short film and developing marketing collateral for the non-for-profit. So all great experiences, and those may not be relevant to people that come in here to the gallery, but they're part of my personality and part of kind of who I am as a photographer and content creator. I'm really excited about Visit South Walton Artist of the Year and the projects that we have. One of the joint pieces that we're going to be doing together is actually creating a landscape art book highlighting the landscapes of beautiful South Walton. I have a great connection with the CAA and have really been nothing but encouraged to become a better artist and person by knowing them for almost over a decade now. So it's been really great to see the growth of the CAA and how they bring arts to the community. I think in the area that we live, they're really fundamental as far as bringing arts to be recognized in South Walton, which has been, I know if I had to guess, not an easy task. And there's always challenges and in any community that you're in as far as bringing art and that perspective, but they've always been very supportive. And for me as a photographer and to a lot of the other artists in South Walton, and it's really, for me as a dad and a family, we always encourage art as one of the biggest priorities in our family with growth and development. A day in the life for myself, if it's an ideal day here in South Walton, it's when it's warm and it's either a little bit of surf where we'll go down to Grayton Beach and the water visibility is ideal. So typically I'll start out in the mornings before daybreak and try to be on the water as the sun comes up, and then spend, as the sun rises, to spend that time underwater. Sometimes that's diving, sometimes it's free diving, sometimes it's snorkeling. And sometimes it's without a camera, just to enjoy what we have here in our backyard. I love shooting and I love being behind the camera and creating, and I love travel. And so I was asked a few years ago, like, where do you want to be? Like, what do you want to do? To really kind of dial in on my work. And what I love to do and what I'm passionate about doing is I'm passionate about travel, I'm passionate about teaching, and I'm passionate about selling art. I've been able to teach photo workshops with like Orange County High School of Arts out of LA. We did a 14-day trip in Alaska. And so it was kind of an eye-opener for me is how much I really love teaching, because these kids are all high school students, like juniors and seniors. They knew the basic language of photography and I could really communicate with them. And I realized at that time, like I was just as stoked or happy teaching as I was shooting. And so I kind of ignited a teaching aspect that I had not really recognized before. So ultimately it came down to last year, I was able to buy a Sprinter van and I outfitted it for my workshops here. So it's awesome. I mean, it's really exciting. It's, the idea is to have students meet here at the gallery, and then we'll go out, shoot landscape photography, and then develop off of that, if we're gonna do fashion photography or underwater, kind of tie in other professionals, that they have strengths that I may not have, but really kind of create a community approach as far as offering photo workshops. And then the Sprinter is really just the means of transportation, but it's more of a luxurious means and functional. So downstairs here in the gallery, you'll see a lot of different decor from different travels from Latin America, or different souvenirs, as well as all the camera gear that I've ruined underwater. That's like the wall of shame. In the downstairs of the gallery, you'll also see a variety of mediums from deck-a-ledge rag cloth paper to high gloss aluminum. We've also become notorious for the locally reclaimed wood frames, which has been kind of another community builder on how amazing this community is. We'll show up and contractors or people know that we make the frames out of old docks and deck board, and we'll show up to the gallery and there'll just be stacks of it on the gallery, or we'll get phone calls saying, hey, we don't want to throw this away, can you come get them? So those are the handmade reclaimed wood frames that we make. So the Fine Art Photography Gallery upstairs is more about a refined experience that will highlight both a local, like a coastal series of the creation and fine art photography, as well as it'll have some of the highlights and more personal travel experiences and people that I've been able to work with. It'll kind of tie that in, but at the same time, as it being a refined experience, it'll also be a really comfortable experience that it's kind of a growth point in my portfolio, and as a career photographer, it's really a progressional step for me, and I'm excited to be able to share that with you guys, and especially the support of a lot of my clients are always asking, what am I working on next, and that's kind of a more exclusive approach and a more exclusive experience for especially those repeat clientele.
Thank you so much, Chandler, for allowing us to be here today and showing us around your gallery at Modus. It's been so wonderful meeting you and hearing all about your story as the new Artist of the Year. If people are interested in seeing more of your work, where should they be going?
So a new website we just launched is themodusgallery.com, and that's where you can check out all of the landscape art gallery. There's also the modusphotography.com is another website you can check out.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. If you like this content and would like to see more, go to theculturalartsalliance.com and click donate.
Thank you for experiencing this episode of Art on Demand, presented by the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County, with support from Alys Beach, 30A.com, and Florida Department of State, Division of Cultural Affairs. We hope you explored your creativity and learned something new today. As the creative core of Walton County, the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County offers support, connection, and access opportunities for all forms of art, every variety of maker, all levels of learners, and especially art lovers. Through performance, funding, and educational programs, the 501c3 organization directly connects the people of Walton County with the broader view, the critical exploration, and the answers only the arts have the power to provide. If you loved this episode, please visit culturalartsalliance.com and click the donate button to give what you can to help the CAA continue to bring you art on demand. And stay tuned for our next virtual event coming soon.